I'll talk about rollout configuration in detail. So as part of this tutorial, I will explain the concept of rollout configuration and the demo in the later part. I have already explained MSM, multi-site manager, to you, so you know what is the blueprint and live copies. If you did not see that, please go back and check those tutorials. So you create content or pages once in a blueprint, means the language master, and then you move that content to live copies. That is called rolled out content. You roll out content from blueprint to live copies. So there can be many ways of doing it, possible ways. One is you push changes manually from blueprint to live copy. Push changes based on some trigger. Let's say you modified content and the modified content should be moved to live copies. And then your live copy intentionally pull the changes, means modify content. So how your content will be moving from blueprint to live copy in AEM, that is done using the rollout configurations. Rollout configuration is an essential part of MSM. Using this feature, you can move content from blueprint to live copies. You do not need to write any code, obviously, with the out-of-box functionality. You just need to add rollout configurations as per your need while creating live copies, or later also you can add it. You can add rollout configuration in live copies. You can add those in blueprint as well, or these can be inherited, right? Either way, if you write in blueprint, you can inherit those. In live copy also, you can inherit that. You will see the page property, you will understand. So how this rollout, content rollout is performed using rollout configurations. So rollout configuration has two parts. One is trigger, another one is action. So this configuration is defined on using trigger and action, right? Trigger define how this rollout configuration will be trigger, means will be used for. Actions define what are the tasks this rollout configuration will be performed. So your trigger define when this will be used, and actions define what actions this rollout configuration will be performing. So there are some standards triggers which are on rollout, on modification, on activation, and on deactivation. There are others and you can create your own as well. So on rollout means you intentionally and manually, either content author or business person, rolling out that changes, means moving those changes from blueprint to live copy. On modification is a trigger. As soon as you modify some content, that content will be moved to respective live copies. It's not only modification, it works for both create and modification, right? On activation, as soon as you activate something in blueprint, that same content will be activated in live copies. Keep in mind, it does not move content, it only activate content which is already there in live copy. Deactivation means when you deactivate something on blueprint, it will deactivate that in live copy as well. So actions, now there are number of actions available. I did not mention all here. You can go back in tutorials and check. So I mention here the most commonly used: create content, update content, delete content. You can understand these actions will actually create, update, and delete content. Edit property, this is important, we'll see that in demo in coming tutorials. Workflow, that is rarely used, but in coming tutorial I'll show you the example of it. This is the these later two are pretty good to understand. There are some important and generic rollout configurations available in AEM out of the box. These are not the only one, there are others. I'm only mentioning here which are most commonly used for AEM sites, and you can create your own as well. Standard rollout configuration, and the trigger is on rollout, which is means manually. You have to perform action to move content. You have to trigger, you have to click button, okay? Activation on blueprint, as I already told you, when you activate something on blueprint, if your live copy using this rollout configuration, the content, if it is already there in live copy, that will also activate it. Deactivated, same opposite. Push on modify, this is actually for modification and creation. If you create content or modify content in Blueprint, that will be moved to your live copy. These are the standard available, there are others as well. Please go back and check the documentation. Now let's say a scenario. We'll see that scenario in detail in demo as well. I have a blueprint called language master, and I have a language copy English, and this has a live copies in Germany DE English, France English, and India English. And these rollout configuration are used. German English is using standard rollout configuration, France English is using standard rollout, and push on modify. Obviously you can add any number of the rollout configurations. India English is using standard rollout configuration and activation on Blueprint. So when you create page, as soon as you create page in your Blueprint, so what should happen? Because if you see, Germany is using standard, English standard is using in all three, right? So leave about the standard for now. For standard configuration, you have to intentionally publish. So as soon as you create page, because French site is using push and modify, so this content or this page will be moved to French English, okay, as soon as, or if you update anything, that changes will also move in France English. Now manually in language master, you have some content and you intentionally rolling out that content. As soon as you click on the rolled out, okay, this content will be moved in all three live copies, because all three live copies has a standard rollout configuration, and a standard rollout configuration is used for manual rollout. Okay, now assume I created a page and I hit on rollout. So after rollout, that page will be available in all the live copies, right? But now I activate that page, means I publish this page in language master, means Blueprint. So as soon as I publish that page, still page is having in all three live copies, right? But as soon as you publish this page in Blueprint, this arrow is actually wrong. What will happen? It will publish the same page from India EN live copy as well, because it has activation on Blueprint, right? So as soon as you activate here, means publish in there, so it will publish here from Blueprint and from English India live copy as well. It will not publish in these two because these does not have activation on Blueprint. Activation Blueprint, activation rollout configuration. Now let's see the demo part, where I'll talk about some more scenarios along with what I have discussed here. Now let's understand using demo. So in my previous MSM related tutorials, I explained how to create these live copies, blueprints and all. So this, for our case, this is a blueprint. You know it if you have seen the previous tutorials earlier. I will give link if you did not see it. Please go back and check once. Now you will see two different tabs. In Blueprint, you have a different tab. Let me show you. So this is my blueprint and these are language copies, right? English, Hindi, French, German, these are language copies. So if I open the property of it, I have already opened it here, language master English. If I open the properties, you will see a tab called blueprint, which says what are the live copies using this language copy. Okay, in Blueprint you always have language copy. Keep in mind, I have already explained in detail. So this language copy is used to create 4 live copies, right? And you see this tab blueprint. In some of your cases, you don't see it, right? Why? Your blueprint should be available by right. This tab is coming from the blueprint. You still can have this site because this is just content, but it's not necessary it has a blueprint. It is a blueprint. To that, check that you must have blueprint. So you can go, let me open it. Let me show you using crxt, or you can go through the console as well. You must have your blueprint. Where it is, go apps, MSM, and you will see your blueprint. Okay, I have it in my folder. If you open this and you see this JCR content, you will see the site path, right? This blueprint make the language copy as a blueprint. If you don't have it here, you won't find this blueprint tab. Okay, that's the one thing. Let me close this. In now this is the language copy, and these country sites have live copies. So this English, India English, is the live copy to that language copy. Let me open this. So I have already opened it. France English. Let me open the properties. Let me open this as well. German English properties, and India English. Right. So in this live copies, you will see the tab live copy, not blueprint, right? Here you will see all this information. Now you can add your rollout configuration here, or in blueprint you can add here as well, but I added here, right? Because these rollout configurations, you can change it as per your live copy. You can change the behavior of your live copy, content movement to the live copy. So if you see here, this is my France English. So there are two configurations: standard rollout configuration and push on modify. You can inherit from the parent as well. Now parent can be your site. Okay, these are the live copies. Your site parent can be this page, right? This is the parent. And or parent can be, if you don't make this as a live copy, means parent, then it can be blueprint. So just play around it. I'll give you basic understanding, then you can play around that. Okay, so if you see here, as I explained, this is the France, and the configuration are standard rollout configuration and push on modify. This is German, and if I come here, it says standard rollout configuration, and it is inheriting from parent, right? If you see, it does not have its own. This is the one use case I just wanted to show you. It is inheriting. English, India English having, this is also inheriting. Okay, but even you can remove it, it doesn't make any difference. If I remove it, I add same, right? Let me save it. So where it is inheriting for now, because I don't have anything in blueprint, but I made this main page, site page, also as a blueprint. Oh, sorry, live copy. So if you open this page property, you will see these are used. So if I check this in live copy, means my lower pages, they will keep inheriting the rollout configuration from parent. Okay, this is just to let you understand inheritance work. Now you understood how these happening. So now let me close all this. Okay, now come back to this. Now inside this English copy, language copy, let me create a page. Page 1. It's done. So what should happen? It should, like, English means India has standard rollout configuration and activation on blueprint. So this page will not move because it's just created. Germany is also having only standard rollout configuration, which need a manual rollout. France is having standard rollout configuration and push on modify. So push on modify means it work for the create as well. So if I click here, I should see the page 1, which is there, but I should not see in German English, which is not. I should not see in India, which is not. Okay, it is working as per the expected. Now let me come back to blueprint, language copy, and let me open this page, right? Let's open this. Now let's roll out manually. So you go to the page properties, here properties means the left pan, actually 3 lines, and you will see a rolled out page. Keep in mind, if you don't have blueprint, what I show you, this option won't be available here. So that is important. Still you see the content, still you see language master, but in some cases if you are missing the blueprint, you won't see these options. Now let's click on this. So it will show you these are the live copies for this language copy, okay, for this page. So you can publish, means you can roll out to all the live copies, or it's up to you, you can choose it. Okay, so as soon as I click, this page will be moved. Even it will showing you, read this France. Okay, this France, it was moved by using that push on modify rollout configuration. So it's showing it here. This is something else, right? I was doing something earlier, so that's the log for that. And it did not move to Germany English and India English. So if I click on this, it will show you now or later, just continue. Now I rolled out manually and standard rollout configuration used for this action, right? If I click here and if I see here India, I should see page, which is correct. I should see in German as well, which is correct. Right. Now I come here and I will publish that page. Okay, let me publish this. All right, publish this page. So what should happen? It should publish two pages, one from the language master here, this page, and another one from India. Why? Because India live copy used activation on blueprint. Okay, now let's check the logs just to show you. It will work, but let me show you. So let me refresh. So this is my replication agent, and if I refresh this, okay, you will see here path, language master, and AEM. Okay, connection refuse, I don't know, some, okay, my publish is not working, that's why it is showing the connection refuse. But you will see it is happening for two. One for this creating path, you will see the creating path, that means it will try to activate this, and now creating path for this, right? So that means content should be there. If in case content is not there in English live copy, still it is using activate on blueprint, it will not activate because the page won't be there. This rollout configuration does not move page from blueprint to live copy. Now let me create one more page here. So I created one more page here. Now it obviously French English live copy should have this page too, but not the others. So let me go to this English, okay, and let me come here and let me open this. So I open the page properties. Now you will see some options at the top. Synchronize. It will synchronize, it will pull the changes which are not there in live copy but still there in language copy, means still there in blueprint. Suspend, it will actually suspend the inheritance, right? Further rollout operations, right? So this can be revert back. Reset will revert back whatever the operation you perform in this suspension and all. Please go back and check the documentation for detail. This is high level. Detach means it will permanently remove that connection from blueprint, means from the live copy of language copy. Okay, I'm using sometimes language copy and blueprint. Blueprint contains language copies, right? And each language copy used to create live copies. Okay, you understand this. Don't confuse with this if I use somewhere wrong word. Okay, so now because page 2 were not there here in India English, but I'm not pushing that rollout, right? Rollout, because rollout will roll out that page to all the live copies which having the standard rollout configuration. So here I will push this synchronize and the sync. Okay, I have synced now. If you see, the status also have been changed. Now let me refresh this. Okay, see this in sync with source. Yes, earlier it was not. Now if I cancel it and I come here, you will see the page 2 has come, because page 2 was created in blueprint, right? But I did not rolled out. That way also you can pull changes. This is not depend on any specific rollout configuration, right? So these features also you should keep in mind while deciding or while designing your solution. So this was the basic and detail about rollout configuration. Now you must have some questions after seeing this tutorial, and you should have if you understood this properly. One is, my language master has language copies, which is English, Hindi, French, Spanish, and German. I created page in English, okay, and whatever the live copies used to create live copies created using this language copy English, for those you were able to move your content. That's pretty fine. But what if the page I created in English, but what if how that content will be moved to these language copies, and from these language copies to the live copies which were created using this? You understood my point? How that will happen? That you must have this question here, because right now I created in English and I move content, all the live copies which were created using English language copy. But what if for others, if I open this, what means it will have some live copies, right? That content is not even moved here, and how it will move there. So again, it's a manual task. And then it like for the MSM, nothing should be manual ideally. Okay, one question. Second, if there any action, any action or any functionality you want to perform, you have some requirement, but that is not achievable through out of box rollout configuration, right? Neither you have rollout configuration nor action. So what you will be doing that in that case? So we'll see these scenarios in coming tutorials, and I will explain those. So I hope you understood. If you have any question, please do comment. Thank you.